Right, just a quick little video about rigs. As people know, I make rigs. I've been making them for over 35 years and things have changed over the years. Components are a lot different now than what they were back in the day when I started. But the main thing with components is they've got to be good quality. I won't use any bad quality ones. I'll test them all. When I get them out of the packet, before I put them on any rig, I push them, bend them, twist them, put a lot of pressure on them, and then see whether they still work. This is a breakaway one. These are quite good, I like these. But then you can get a low quality one. This one here, I'm not sure of the brand, but it's a cheap swivel. They push on the top, it just bends. Literally as soft as that. There's no way I want to be casting a 6-ounce lead on that. I won't really casting anything on it, to be honest. But it's just attention to detail. When you buy stuff, always just check it and make sure it's safe and a good quality to use. Hooks. The smaller hooks, I like Camasan B940s, nice and sharp, and they last a while as well. Also like Mustard Ultra Points. Use a lot of these. The reason I like these because they last a long time. I've had them on rigs and I've just put the rig in my box like you do and left it. You don't get no corrosion on these at all. You can leave it in there for months, get it out, give it a wipe with your finger, and they stay sharp as well. They're razor sharp. Good quality hook and they're strong. Good for worm baits. When I go to the bigger patterns, my main ones I use are Sakuma, Extra Manta are the thick ones, Manta are the thinner ones. These the Extra Manta are a slightly thicker gauge. Also like Varavas, big mouth extras as well, and Seago Kato hooks. These are good, very strong and good quality hook. You're using a big hook, you're aiming for a big fish, so you want a good quality hook with a sharp point, but nice and strong. You don't want a floppy hook. These are really good, really sharp. I use them on my bigger patterns. Beads. I've been through a lot of beads being a rig maker. Believe it or not, you do get good ones and you do get bad ones. The ones I do like are these short cast ones. These are nice. The reason I like these is because they've got a small hole, but they're not shiny. They're matte in effect. I don't like shiny things, I like them matte. Because years ago I used to fish in Cornwall a lot, in Padstow Harbour, trying to catch mullet. When you watch the fish with shiny beads on your rigs, they're going after your rig body instead of going after your rig point, and that's always put me off. So that's why I try and use like a matte, not a shiny bead on the actual rig body. But these are these are short cast ones, but I can't get them anymore. So I've gone over to breakaway ones. These are the oval beads. These things are really good. I put them in a little bag so you can see them. But these are nice and streamlined bead. Perfect for your big bodies. And they're nice and small as well. They're not big, bulky things. I like to try and keep things compact. And I just got some of these as well. The new Seago Aero beads. These little 3mm beads there. Good, really streamlined for clip rigs, loop rigs and things like that. Very good. Started using them as well. It's just personal preference really, but for me I'm very fussy with my rigs when I make them. Even just down to rig bodies. Rig bodies I like to use a Azo, or I use a Sakuma rig body as well. I like these because it's nice and supple. It's not a wiry, thick line. It's quite nice and easy to tie knots. It beds down really well. Very strong, easy to work with when you're making a lot of rigs. You want something that's not going to make your hands sore, and this does. It's brilliant stuff, and it's not that expensive either. All my rig bodies, 90% of my rig bodies I use Amnesia. This is good, just because it's a memory free line. Memory free means if you get a kink in it, you have to just grab it, pull the line, and it sits nice and straight. It's handy if you're fishing for, like, you get a lot of little pin whiting in the winter and they tend to twist your line up. Amnesia is brilliant for that. You just pull it out, put it straight, and it's a nice line to work with as well. It doesn't burn your fingers or anything when you tie knots. Another thing with knots, just for an example, I've got a big swivel there, just show you how I like to tie my knots. Everybody's got their own way of doing it, but this always works for me. Stick it through, 1, 2, 3, 4, poke it back through. Now, a lot of people, when you watch them tie knots, they grab the knot and they pull it and put saliva on it and yank it and wrap it round around, pull it really tight. All you're really doing is damaging the line and kinking the line. You're wrapping it around your hand like that, which is obviously crushing the line. That's all weakening your line. Pulling it down, well, you're pulling it so tight. The harder you're pulling that, the thinner that line's getting, the more damage it's getting. And what I like to do mine is to get that undone. I'll show you what I mean. The way I like to do my line, I thread it through like that. Go around, 1, 2, 3, 4. Poke it back through. And when you pull in not tight, I pull mine. I can pull and push and pull. I push, pull, push, pull. Don't wrap the line around nothing. I'm just literally grabbing it in my hand like that. A little bit of pressure, push, pull. You don't need no saliva because you're pushing the knot up, and then that knot is solid. When you look at the knot, it's nice and uniformed because you're putting it in slow. You're not putting it in fast. So you get a nice neat knot, which is strong. And if I can, I'll try and show you what I mean. If I can pull that knot out, then pull that straight. That end bit, there's no damage to the line at all. No chafing. You run your fingers along it. There's no chafing or nothing. That's not damaged, that bit of line. So you're keeping the strength. All the time it's not damaged, you're keeping the strength in that line. Everybody does it differently, but that's the way I like to do it. I find it works a lot better, and you're not damaging the line. It's going to get damaged enough when it's rolling around the seabed. You don't really want to damage it anymore before you throw it in the seabed. That's just my opinion. But then there's different ways of doing rigs. Another thing is when you're fishing, always plan ahead. Like I always like to plan ahead, and I make my rigs to the situation that I'm planning. I've got a 2-loop rig here. At the moment with lockdown on, I can only go local, so I'll probably be going Sheerness, somewhere like that next week. And I know down there at the moment there's flounders and there's rays. So I've got a 2-loop rig. But what I've done, I've adapted this one. So it's a normal loop rig with cascade swivel, running straight through, SRT spring. Difference with this one is when it hits the water, it comes off. We've got a snood at the top, a high vis bead, a bit of bling, a bit of rattle, because I know there's going to be flounders there, so this is a target the flounders. But on the same trace, what I've done with the bottom of it, top I've made with £15 amnesia, bottom snood I've made with £30 amnesia, and I made this 3 foot long, the bottom snood, with a big hook. That's a 2.0 very vast big mouth hook. And what I can do with that, I could put a nice bluey bait, sandhill bait, squid bait on the bottom hook, ragworm, lugworm bait on the top hook, and that way I've got double the chance, because I'm targeting the rays and I'm targeting the flounders at the same time, because I know there's going to be flounders, I know there's going to be rays. So instead of using loads and loads of rigs, I can target both species on one rig. And it's just thinking little things like that, which just gives you, put ahead, if there's a flounder by it, it'll take the flounder bait. If there's a ray laying around, it'll take the ray bait. It just gives you that little heads up, little bit of sort of easy. It's just thinking a lot of it, it's just thinking ahead of what you're going to do. But they work for me. I enjoy making rigs. I'm hoping, just at the moment, hopefully I'm going to get out next week. It's a bit windy at the moment, but hopefully next week I'm going to get out, do a bit of fishing as well, so I'll do some bit more videoing on the beach. But for now I thought I'd just do a little video on some of the bits that helped me out with my rigs. Hopefully you get a few tips from it to what to use in your rigs. Cheers.